Hi everyone, and thank you so much for tuning in. Welcome to my channel. Today I have for you the second part of my house tour. You guys really seem to enjoy the first part that I put out a couple of weeks ago. If you haven't seen that, I will link that on the screen now. And in that one I showed you the living room, the kitchen and the balcony. The reason why I didn't do a full house tour in one video is because it was just taking way too long. I wanted to go through all the details with you, so I thought it would be better to split it into two videos just so that you didn't have an hour-long YouTube video to watch. So today I'm going to do the rest of the house, so the bedrooms, the bathrooms, a little bit of the corridor, so you can see the rest of my house. And again, I'm going to try and tell you where I purchased all my stuff, my inspiration, and obviously bear in mind that some of the stuff I got was obviously purchased 2 years ago, so unfortunately might no longer be available, but I'll try to find the most similar stuff that I can and link it all down below in the info box. So without further ado, let's get straight into the house tour. But before that, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. I upload twice a week and I would love to have you back on the channel. Also, don't forget to hit the little bell right next to the subscribe button so that you get a notification every time I upload a new video. So we're going to start off with the master bedroom, and this is our bedroom. It's not the biggest bedroom. I think it's kind of a nice shape because it's kind of quite squarish, and then it has like a little corridor coming in, but it's not a very, very large room, but we've tried to make the most of it with the space that we have. Behind me, you can see that I have the bed, and that has a kind of bluish, greenish headboard, and I thought it was a nice way to add a pop of color to the otherwise very white walls. And because it was kind of quite a strong color, I decided to keep everything else really neutral so that it didn't kind of clash too much. So decided to use that as the kind of main focus for that wall, but then decided to keep everything else quite neutral. Also, by keeping the other colors quite neutral, you make the room look a little bit bigger. So it's one of those headboards with kind of buttons going into it. I'm not quite sure how you call them. I know there's a name for it, but basically it's got kind of buttons inserted into it. I really like them. They're kind of classic, but at the same time, they're kind of modern because it's got quite clean lines. It's a completely upholstered headboard, and it's actually hanging from the wall. It's actually quite high as well because I think that made the room look a little bit kind of larger. By having the headboard a little bit higher up, it made like the ceiling look like it was a little bit higher. And yeah, and I really like this. I will try to find it below. I'm not sure they still have it in stock, but if they do, I will link it down below so that you guys can get your hands on it. For the rest of the bed linen, I decided to keep it neutral, like I said. And actually, I got this bed linen made in Spain, and it was custom made for us. It's in a very light kind of pearly grey colour, a very, very neutral kind of grey. And I thought the grey and the blue looked quite nice together. It added a little bit of colour rather than just completely stark white. It was a little bit more kind of subtle, and it didn't kind of look all too white because obviously the walls are white as well. But it did kind of, again, look quite neutral. We have the duvet and the big pillows at the back, which match, as you can see here. I do like beds with quite a lot of cushions, so I decided to add a couple of smaller cushions in front of the larger ones, and I wanted these to be in the same color family so that it all kind of stayed quite neutral, but I wanted a little bit of contrast, so I decided to go for a darker shade of gray. And I'm just going to show you here. This is one of them. They're like little square ones. They've got like a very light grey trim around them, and that is matching with the duvet cover. And then it's got this embroidery with kind of white and darker grey, and then it's kind of like a sort of textured material with kind of threads going through it in like different shades of grey. So I thought this one added something really interesting. I quite like the print on it. I thought it made it a little bit more kind of not everything looking so plain. It added a little bit of interest to the bed. And then I also had this other cushion that goes in between the two square ones, and this one is with polka dots. I really love this one. This one is almost my favorite thing in this room, I would have to say. The polka dots are in white, and then the background is in like a little bit of a darker grey than the duvet cover, but nothing too dark. Something also quite interesting that this company made for me, they are a company called Borgia Conti, and I think they do ship internationally if you get in touch with them, so I will link their details down below. But something they did especially customized for me was on the duvet, because I didn't want the pillow to show, and I have my pillow behind my cushions, they decided to make a fabric which is of the same material as the duvet cover, and basically you can just wrap the pillow in that and it makes it look like, sort of like an old-fashioned style of bedding where you would kind of cover the pillow with the cover on top of the bed, but it's still a duvet cover with feathers, which is much more cozy, much lighter, and much easier to make the bed as well in the morning. So I quite like this combo, and the duvet and that fabric behind, as well as the cushions, they all have like a very slight texture to it. It makes kind of like a little bit of a squares on the fabric, but it's very, very subtle. So if you see it from a distance, you can't really see it, but if you kind of come up close, you can see that the fabric has a little bit of texture to it. Moving on to the other soft furnishings in the room, the curtains, they are the same as the ones I have in the living room. I wanted, again, a transparent one so that it's not kind of too bright and you can't see the window as well. And then I have the other curtains, which are blackout curtains, which obviously in a bedroom you absolutely need because you need to sleep in on weekends. So I decided to keep everything, again, quite neutral. It's the same shade as the one in the living room. It's like a champagne-y, beigey color. And I just basically wanted to kind of blend it in with the wall so that it was nothing kind of too stark that was kind of taking the attention away. Because this room isn't too wide, it was nice to have something neutral because that makes the room look a little bit wider. Moving on to the furniture, there are not too many pieces of furniture in the room, like I said, because it's not too large. So I have 2 bedside tables, and then I have 1 piece of furniture, which is just for the TV, and that's kind of in front of the bed. I decided to keep everything matching, and I've gone for quite kind of mirror furniture with sort of crystal embellishments. So the knobs of the drawers are all in kind of a glass, textured glass, and the rest of it is all in a mirror finish. And the reason why I chose this, even though they are terrible to clean because they always look dusty, the reason why I chose them is because obviously they bounce the light off and they just make the room look a little bit bigger. I decided to go for all the furniture to have drawers in them just because there isn't that much storage space. The wardrobe isn't huge, so I needed a little bit of extra storage, and it was really nice to have like a chest of drawers to put in all my kind of jumpers and stuff like that, jeans, and then for the smaller stuff like underwear and stuff like that, it's all in the bedside table, which has kind of smaller drawers. On the chest of drawers, to utilize the space, I decided to put the TV on top, and this was actually the TV we had in the living room in our old house. So instead of kind of giving it away, we decided that it would be quite nice to have a TV in the bedroom, and we put it here, and it was quite kind of flat screen, so it blended it quite nice with the background. And then I decided to keep all the accessories on that chest of drawers silver. There's a little box. I like to have those boxes to kind of store stuff in. It's always really handy. I hate having stuff kind of lying around. So to keep just, you know, kind of coins or your watch when you come home, it's quite nice to have somewhere to store it that's kind of easily accessible. And I got this one from Zara Home. And then I have a little candle stand, which was actually gifted to us for our wedding. And I believe this one is from Marks & Spencer's. I'm not sure if it's still available, but it's quite a unique piece and it's very nice, quite dainty, so I'll try and see if I can find it and link it down below. For the accessories on my bedside table, I decided to go for these Avira 1 for Wedgwood, I think it's called, accessories, and I really fell in love with them. They're kind of silver as well, so they tie in with the other accessories they have, but they have this kind of accent in black, and I really, really love that. I think they made them look very, very kind of luxurious, and yeah, I mean, I really like the black enamel around it. It also added a pop of color for everything not being kind of so kind of light. I thought the black was quite a nice contrast. And I have pictures on both bedside tables, and I also have a little box of the same collection where I store some of my other bits of jewelry, and that's quite nice as well. Also on the bedside tables, I have these flowers, which I spoke about already. They're from Sia. I have them in the living room as well, but I had 2 extra ones, so I decided to pop them in the bedrooms, and I thought it added a really nice touch. And like I told you, I'm hopeless at maintaining flowers or plants, so it was quite nice to have these, which are artificial and need 0 maintenance. I have it over this little coaster, and this was actually gifted to me by my best friend when she came and visited us from the US. So I'm not quite sure where she got it, but I know that you can get really similar ones in Selfridges because this is really similar to the one I showed you that I have in my living room. And yeah, I thought they looked quite nice together, and it was nice because otherwise the glass was scratching the mirror, so it was nice to have a coaster underneath it. Moving on to the paintings on the wall, we have some photographs actually that we had from our wedding, and and we actually had quite artistic photographers for our wedding. They didn't go for the kind of classic posed wedding pictures, and we really loved these, so we decided to frame them and put them up on the walls. And I decided to go for a frame that was kind of a silverish, blackish kind of color. I wanted something neutral, but I didn't want something that was kind of plain and black. I thought that looked really stark for a bedroom, so this one is really beautiful. It has like a textured kind of silverish and kind of bronzy look to the frame, and yeah, we decided to put these on both sides of the bed, and then we also have them in the little corridor that's kind of coming into our room. Finally, for the rest of the stuff, there's a mirror that we have in our room. Unfortunately, we weren't able to fit in a full-length mirror because we couldn't find one that was the right size, so we decided to go for this half-length mirror. It is unfortunate that it's not full length because obviously you can't see your full outfit when you're getting ready, but this one's quite nice. This one's from John Lewis and it has kind of a textured look around, but we decided to keep it very simple with very clean lines because we didn't want too much of a fuss, because otherwise the room would just end up looking way too full. And there's a little corner kind of on this side of the room, and we decided to add a little flower there. Again, these ones are from Sia. They are orchids, and we've put them in like a long vase. Very simple, again, very clean lines, very neutral. And this one is also, I think, from John Lewis. I will try to find it and link it down below. But yeah, we just put that in the corner just so that it didn't look so bare. So this is our guest bedroom, and it is actually the smallest room in the house, but I have to say it is my favorite room. I really like how it turned out. I wasn't too sure because it has kind of an awkward shape. It's got like a kind of L shape, and I didn't really know what we would do with the space because there's like a weird corridor in the front, and then the bed is at the back, and it's sort of in between two walls. So I wasn't too sure how it would end up looking, but I actually really like how it's turned out, and it feels really cozy. And yeah, it's my favorite room in the house. So I'm going to run you through everything I have. We have the same headboard as we do in our bedroom, but this one is in a very dark grey colour, and the bed is a little bit smaller. It's not a double bed. It's kind of a in-between bed. It's not double and it's not single. And we have this darker grey headboard, but it's the same sort of style. And I really like that it's got like a textured fabric as well, and it's a very dark grey. And the reason why I use this is because I wanted a really kind of big contrast with the wall, because everything looks really white in this room. There's not much space to put a lot of furniture, and the walls kind of have to be left bare because the bed is sort of in between two walls. So we couldn't really do much with that space because it looked awkward to have like a headboard on one side and have like a painting on the other. So there's a lot of white space, and I wanted something that was going to kind of really dark and toughen up the room. So I decided to go for this dark headboard, and in order to contrast this, we decided to go for completely white bedding. And I know this would technically not work if you actually use the room a lot, just because white gets dirty so quickly, but because we don't use this room so much, it's only when people come over, and I actually use it as an office as well, but I don't really use the bed as much. It actually works because they stay clean and pretty for a long time. So for the bedding, we decided to go, like I said, with something completely white. We have white sheets as well, so to keep everything in theme, and then it has a grey trim around the cushions and also around the duvet. And the duvet and the cushions are all kind of ribbed, and I really like that kind of texture. It adds a little bit of interest to the otherwise completely white surface, and I really like that kind of grey little accent because it makes it tie in with the headboard. Again, we've gone for a similar sort of structure as with the master bedroom. There's a duvet. I always use double sheets, so basically I use like a flat sheet underneath and then another sheet on top and then the duvet, so that I don't have to be kind of washing the duvet cover every week, because there's actually no kind of contact when you sleep in the bed with the duvet cover, and it also keeps it nice and warm as well. Then went with like white sheets to keep it all in theme, and then we have the two cushions that are matching with the duvet cover, and actually I've got like two pillows in this one. We don't actually use those pillows to sleep in. We use like a big long pillow that we have at the back, and those long pillows you can't get in this country. I got those from Spain. These ones are really amazing. They are from like goose feathers, so they're really nice and really bouncy, but you can't get them here in the UK as a long pillow. I'll try to see if there's anyone that sells them online and I'll link it below, but I really like kind of long pillows for double beds because I don't like to have that gap in the middle when you have two pillows. But yeah, I used normal kind of UK standard pillowcases to fill in the cushions, and we actually don't use these to sleep in, but they look quite nice. And then in front of that I have two small cushions, and these are from Harlequin. I got them in John Lewis, and they're again in a grey sort of textured fabric, and these ones are really beautiful. They have some kind of blue threads going in, but the kind of general tone of them is grey, and then they have some kind of silver accents in them as well, so they kind of shimmer a little bit, but they're very, very subtle, like it's just a few threads that shimmer in them, but it just makes them look really beautiful, but nothing kind of too sparkly or crazy. We also, for the bedding, I don't like the legs of the bed to show, and I did that in the other bedroom as well. In the other bedroom, I bought them from John Lewis, and it's kind of a cover for the bed, and I purchased it in the same color as the duvet cover in the other room, but in this room I decided to go for a stark grey, like a really dark grey, charcoal grey, similar to the headboard, so that they would kind of contrast with the duvet, and I think it looks really, really beautiful. For the rest of the furniture in this room, instead of going for side tables, because we couldn't put a side table on the other side of the bed, because as you can see behind me it's against a wall, we actually decided to add a desk in, and that's because I needed a place to put in my desktop computer and somewhere to work, and there was a kind of a perfect space between the wall that's kind of here where the cupboard is and the bed, and we decided to fit a desk in there. It was so difficult to find this desk because I just couldn't find anything that would fit that space, and it had to be a very exact measurement, and it took me months to find this one, but I think it's from a company called Multi-York. Again, I'll link it down below if they still have it, but basically I decided to go for chrome and glass, keep it really simple. I wanted a glass desk because I wanted it to look kind of really light and airy. The room, as I said, is not too big, so I didn't want something that was kind of be wood and really dark and really kind of make the space look really full. This one is beautiful. It's got kind of crossed legs, and yeah, and then it has a really nice kind of wooden drawer that you can pull out from underneath the glass, and I think it makes it kind of really special. The size was absolutely perfect. It fitted in really, really nicely in that space, and then on top I've got my desktop computer, and then a few little pieces of decor as well in that chrome kind of silver color, just to kind of keep it in theme with the rest. I've got the double frame, which I really love. We've got some wedding pictures on there, and that's from Zara Home, and then behind that I've got a lamp just for the desk, but it's actually a normal lamp, but I really fell in love with this lamp. It's kind of a silver base, and then it has a black shade, which is really nice to kind of add a little bit of contrast as well, and because it's black and the rest is grey, they sort of tied in, but otherwise everything was looking a bit too grey, so I like the black to kind of add a little bit of extra colour in there. For the chair, I couldn't find a grey one, so I decided to go for this kind of really muted oatmeal colour. And I really love the kind of piece at the back in silver. I think it ties in really nice with the rest of the decor, and it also makes the chair a little bit more special. It also has kind of silver studs going all around, which is really nice. I really love the structure of the chair with a little bit of kind of an armrest, but nothing too high because otherwise it wouldn't fit underneath the desk. And then it also has the kind of buttons on the back, which are kind of nice because it ties it in with the headboard. So yeah, overall this was a really, really good buy. They had it in a really expensive price in Luxe Deco, and I actually managed to find a dupe online which was much more affordable, so I will link that down below if I can find it because it was a real bargain for me. And then the legs of the chair are in a dark wooden colour to tie it in with the kind of drawer in the table. There isn't much more to this room. We don't have a curtain in this room and actually have some blinds just because we couldn't fit a curtain. The window is kind of really narrow, and the bed is right against it, so if we put a curtain there it was just kind of clash, and the curtain was going to look like it was kind of chopped in the middle, so we decided to go for these kind of white blinds to just keep it in with everything else. And then on this wall here there is a mirror just so that you have somewhere to look at, and we couldn't fit a full length mirror again, just because at the bottom I have a kind of bench, and this bench is really nice. It's in, again, a sort of oatmeal kind of beigey colour, and it's in a velvety kind of finish, and it does have the buttons again to tie it in with the rest of the room. Again, I would have liked this in grey, but I couldn't find a nice grey one, and this one is really nice. It's kind of quite long and very spacious, so I have all my bags fitted in there. It's a really nice bag storage. I did talk about it in my wardrobe tour video. If you haven't watched that, I will link it on the screen now so that you can have a look, but it's really, really handy, and it's also really nice because you can use it to kind of put your shoes on, and it's right opposite the wardrobe, so it's kind of in a very good place to use it for that. Finally, in the room there is a painting, and in this room we decided to go for a frame that has the same sort of texture to the ones we have in the bedroom, but this one is in a kind of golden bronzy colour, and it's very nice. Again, something very muted and neutral, but adding a little bit of interest. It has like a little bit of a sheen to it, so that it's not kind of just plain and black and really boring. This is the main bathroom in the house. It's actually the guest bathroom. It's the one that's got access to the corridor. But actually it's the bathroom that we most use in the house, because the one in the master bedroom has like a shower that's very beautiful, but it's very difficult to clean the floor because the hair kind of grabs onto the floor. So it's not ideal, so I prefer to use this one. And when we don't have guests around, we definitely use this one most of the time. The bathroom is actually quite big, but unfortunately it's not like the best. It's kind of quite yellow. The finishing of everything else is all in wood. It's actually kind of a pine wood, but very kind of bright orangey sort of wood. It's in the same finish as the doors of the house and the door frames. It does have some chrome accents. The heater is all in kind of a silver chrome, and I mean, I don't love it, but I've tried to make the most of it. The only thing is it's really good because it's kind of quite large, but it doesn't have any natural light because it doesn't have a window. So to do your makeup, it's not the best location. But bearing in mind what I could do with this bathroom, I decided to go for towels. I love towels, and I really wanted to give it a kind of like hotel finish, like, you know, how they put them on the heaters as a kind, because it's a towel rack heater. So I decided to put them on there, and we actually got these custom made from the same people that did our bedding, and they embroidered them with a P for Puri, which is our family name. And I do have them in white and beige, and then in beige with the embroidery in white, and then I also have them in grey and white, and then in white with the embroidery in grey. So I decided to go for those two tones, and then I have them stacked underneath the sink. The bathroom has like a shelf underneath the sink, and it's really difficult actually to use that space because it's not really big. You can't put anything that's too big. I also don't like to use it as storage because I don't like kind of all the bottles being seen there. So I decided to do the towels, and I rolled them in such a way that you can see the P on the front, and it actually looks really nice, and everyone that comes home always comments on that. So if you want to see how I fold my towels, let me know. I can do a little tutorial for that. Then I decided to go with a little carpet, just so that when you step out of the shower, there's a little rug so that you don't get the floor wet. And again, I decided to go for a very neutral color in this. I ordered this one online. It's from Yves Saint Laurent, and it was a little bit pricey, but I couldn't find a nice rug for the bathroom. It was a real struggle. So this one's got like a little embroidery in the middle in sort of beigey tones as well, and then it's kind of an off-white color. So it's annoying because you have to wash it all the time, but I just wanted it to kind of blend in with the floor, and I didn't want anything that was going to stand out too much. I also have these shelves behind me, and I use these to kind of keep the soap, and also a little container where we keep our toothbrush and stuff. And the reason is we can't keep the soap right next to the sink because there's no space around it. So we decided to use the accessories here because I have the towels in this bathroom hanging in the kind of a beigey, browny caramel color. I decided to go for accessories in a sort of copper color. Again, I got these online. I can't remember the name of the store, but I'll try to link them below. And yeah, I decided to get a matching sort of soap dispenser and a little container. Then on the top, I've got a Jo Malone infuser, and I really like this to kind of make the bathroom smell nice. And I have a little hand towel that's sort of rolled in so that you can use it to kind of dry your hands if you're in the toilet. And on the top, I have a tissue holder, and this one's from Zara Home, and I actually got this one before I bought the soap dispenser, and I would have liked everything to match, but I got this before, so this was in like a sort of beigey color, so it doesn't look too bad, but I would have liked it to match completely with the soap dispenser. There's not much more to the bathroom. The mirror that you can see behind me is actually a cupboard. You can actually open that, and that's got a lot of storage space, which is really nice because that's where I kind of hide everything so that it's not kind of lying around the toilet. And yeah, that's it pretty much. I like to keep it simple, very clean, and very kind of no stuff, no fuss. That's what I like in bathrooms. So this is the ensuite bathroom in the master bedroom, and like I mentioned before, we don't actually use this bathroom all that much, to be honest, because it's just a bit of a faff to clean the shower. It has like it's a walk-in shower, and it has like a textured floor, which is really nice so that you don't slip, but basically the hair sort of grabs onto that and you need to hoover it, but when it's wet you can't, so it's just too much of a faff to clean it on a daily basis, so we actually use the other bathroom more. But I do love this bathroom. It is quite large. It only has one sink though, which I would have liked it to have two sinks for a master bathroom, but it's okay, we make do with what we have. Again, the finishing is very, very similar. The bathroom looks really similar. So I'm just going to talk to you about some of the accessories. The towels I have in this bathroom are the grey ones, but they're the same as the ones I have in the other bathroom. What we did add though is this furniture here, which I tried to get it in a wood that's very, very similar to the wood in the rest of the bathroom just so that it would match. And this is sort of a tall, slim kind of cupboard sort of furniture. It has shelves on the top and then a cupboard down below, and it's quite useful because in the cupboard down below I store like my hair dryers and all my hair products and stuff like that. And then on the top shelves, on the top shelf I have like a little flower. Again, this one's also from Sia, and it comes in a beautiful glass vase. And then I have a mirror, a standard mirror, which I quite like because it has like a magnifying mirror, so it's quite nice when you're trying to do your eyebrows or something. And then again I have the little roll towel like I have it in the other bathroom. And then in the shelf below I have 3 towels folded just in case we need some extra towels. And I got this little piece of furniture from Marks and Spencer's, I think. I will link it down below as well. But it's really handy because it just offers a little bit of storage space, and there was a lot of empty wall in this bathroom, so I thought it was quite nice to kind of use that for that. Then in the sink area, again, I have a shelf down below, and because I needed more space to store my makeup, I decided to buy these little weaved baskets, and these ones are in a kind of beigey, greyish sort of kind of taupey colour, and they're very handy. I've got all kind of plastic dividers inside to keep all my makeup, but it's quite nice because it just kind of holds it, and the basket looks quite nice underneath. And then I have 2 smaller ones stacked on the other side to keep like small towels and to keep like just general hair stuff and stuff that I don't want it to be seen, and it looks visually nicer than if you just have everything kind of lying out. The baskets are quite handy. I also have another small one of these baskets, and I have it on top of this furniture here, and I just have a few kind of product samples. I've got a few kind of small shower gels. I've got these ones from Hermes that I got, and they're very nice, and just a few little kind of bits and pieces that I didn't really know what to do with them, and they're quite handy when you have someone visiting if they need something and you've run out of soap or something. It's quite handy to have these here. Also on top of this furniture I have a diffuser from Zara Home, and this one's the jasmine one, and it smells amazing. I have to say it actually has more smell than the Jo Malone ones, so if you are looking for a good diffuser I would definitely recommend Zara Home. Again, I have the 3 shelves like I do in the other bathroom, and I have a soap dispenser, and I have a little kind of container again, and these ones are from, I believe, Bathhope? I think that's what it's called. Anyway, I'll link it down below. These ones are really beautiful. They were quite a lot more pricey than the ones in the other bathroom, but they're very good quality. The other ones are sort of kind of, the soap dispenser doesn't work very well now, but these ones have lasted for a really long time. It's a really nice soap dispenser because it has a different way. It has like a click thing at the back, and that's how it dispenses the soap. You don't actually have to press it, so it's really nice. And this one's in like a white and chrome. It matches the mirror that I have. The mirror is from Marks and Spencer's, but they all match. And then I decided to get the tissue container in a chrome. Again, I got this one online. I can't remember where it was from, but there are lots of similar ones online, and this one was quite pricey actually, but I really like it because it sort of matches with everything else. And then on the top shelf I have all my perfumes. I don't have a lot of them, so I just have kind of the 4 or 5 that I'm using at the moment just spread out on the top shelf. And then finally in this bathroom I have the same rug to step out of the shower, and then what I do have is a really nice linen basket. I was looking for something that actually looked nice. I didn't want like a classic linen basket, and this one is like a box, and it's in like a white finishing, and it actually has kind of a sheeny finish to the wood. It's very beautiful. It's a lacquered kind of wood, but you do have to be careful because it chips really easily. This one is from the White Company, and it was quite pricey for a linen basket, but I think it's going to last me for a really long time, and I think it looks really nice. It actually looks like a piece of furniture as opposed to a linen basket, and the ones that were wooden from Marks and Spencer's actually didn't look that nice, and they were actually more expensive than this one. So this one's actually really nice. Finally, I wanted to tell you about my little bin. These are just from Marks and Spencer's. I have the same in both bathrooms, and they're just like little chrome bins. I wanted something that wasn't too outstanding, but I quite liked the chrome so that it matched everything else in the bathroom. And then I also have a brush holder to kind of clean the toilet, and I actually got these from Spain from El Corte Inglés, but I will see if I can find them online somewhere. And these ones are really nice because they're in a beigey color, and then the top is in like a wooden finish just so that it matches with the rest of the bathroom. Okay, so this is the final part of my little house tour. This is the corridor. There's not much that we could do here, but it's kind of very long, and it's just got kind of doors on either side, and it just looks really plain, and I wanted to make it look a little bit more cozy because that's the first thing you see when you walk into the house. So there's 2 large doors on this side, and that's basically like a utility cupboard. There's a lot of storage space in there to kind of store all my cleaning stuff, my Hoover and all that stuff, but I'm not going to show you that because it's just a boring cupboard. But to make it a little bit more cozy, I I decided to put some carpets, and I couldn't find one that was long enough for the whole corridor. So I decided to go for 2 long carpets, and I decided to go for these ones. I will link them below. I got them online from Luxe Deco, and they are beautiful. Everyone that comes to the house really likes these. They are grey and blue, sort of textured. It has kind of a print, but it's not really a print. It just looks like threads going through it. But it's really nice. Again, I chose the grey just to tie in with the rest of the house. All the carpeted rooms are in grey, and the carpet we have in the living room is grey as well. So I thought grey was quite a nice colour. It's kind of the base colour, but then it has sort of accents in blue and white. And then, yeah, we just added a few paintings. As you can see, there's one behind me and 2 on the other wall. We decided to go for the same frames that we'd used in the bedrooms. The 2 black and white ones that I have on that wall in front of me are in like that kind of greyish, silverish sort of frame, and then the one in colour that I have here is in that sort of gold, sort of rusty, metallic kind of colour. And then we also have a little corner right here next to the door of the living room, and just to make it look a little bit like it had something extra, I added again a long vase with the orchids like I have in my bedroom. So yeah, we decided to keep it simple, but just add a few kind of accessories just to kind of make it look a bit more homely and not so bare when you walk into the house. Okay guys, well that was everything from me. I hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for watching. If you haven't seen part 1 of my house tour, I will link it below as well so that you go and check it out. And thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!